Welcome into Just a Minute with Joey Blackwell. I'm Katie Windham, and Joey, spring football started on Monday for Alabama football. Nick Saban held his first press conference Monday. Some of the players are supposed to speak on Wednesday, and things are just off and running. Obviously, the quarterback battle is going to be something that people are going to keep an eye on all spring after Bryce Young is headed off to the NFL. But outside of quarterback, Joey, what's one position battle you're maybe looking at, or a position group that maybe needs to prove itself this spring?
Well, there are several for Alabama this year, but the one that I'm looking at as of right now is wide receiver. We're talking about a wide receiver room that, in previous years had stacked rooms. You're thinking of people think, of course, of Henry Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith. You had John Mechie and Jamison Williams. And this year, in regards to star power, the wide receiver room is, kind of lacking in that category. You do have players, of course, like Jermaine Burton. You have also Ja'Cory Brooks coming back. People know who Kobe Prentice is, at this point. But if you're looking at like a projected depth chart, for example, you're looking at X, you have Jermaine Burton, Kendrick Law, Shaz Preston, and Jaron Hamilton. At the Y, you have Kobe Prentice, Isaiah Bond, Jalen Hale, and Cole Adams, who are a pair of freshmen. And then at Z, you have, of course, the aforementioned Ja'Cory Brooks, and then you have Malik Benson and Emmanuel Henderson Jr. So, like I said, I wouldn't say a drop off in talent, but there's a lot of unproven talent on this roster this year, and so it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out and who, on A-Day in just a few weeks here. It'll be here before we know it. In just a few weeks here, who's going to be the starters at those key positions for Alabama?
Yeah, and I'm going to stick on the offensive side of the ball with the offensive line. It's a place where you're losing three starters. Longtime starter, Emil Ekiyor, last year's left tackle, Tyler Steen, and then Javion Cohen hit up the transfer portal in the offseason. And Alabama didn't really necessarily go and get a big name from the portal at that position. They brought in, the top some top prospects, namely Caden Proctor at offensive line. But you kind of have Seth McLaughlin and Darian Dalcourt both back, who play the same position or have in the past. And so, maybe one of them moves over. But more than likely, I would think that Seth McLaughlin is going to be the starter at center. But to me, that's an area where, like you said, it's kind of like wide receiver. You have a lot of unproven guys, and the offensive line, especially with a new quarterback, is going to be a key position. Is he going to have time to throw the ball? Are they going to be able to run block for a new quarterback to have, to take some of the pressure off him to, kind of go to the ground game some? And so I'm going to be really interested by the time A-Day rolls around to see who Alabama has listed as that first string and second string offensive line, or crimson or white. I don't know if we'll get any sort of depth chart, but also, remember last spring, by the time A-Day rolled around, I think Alabama had like 11 healthy offensive linemen. And so there basically were no options for the two, who was healthy was who were the two teams at the A-Day game. So
Yeah.
You also have to keep that in mind in the spring. Saban did go kind of through a full injury report, but those are just some of the positions that we're keeping an eye on this spring as spring football gets going, and we'll be going for the next few weeks while we're also covering March Madness and baseball and softball. It's just a crazy time of year, but that'll wrap up today's Just a Minute. Thank you so much for watching.